Battery shelf full. QSO battery full. Seplos Mason batteries fully charged. Jackie batteries on 95%. Seplos Polo batteries fully charged. Did you actually see my community post on my YouTube channel? I've connected the 3 Seplos Polo batteries now to a production system. So they're getting charged and discharged every single day. Not fully, but I discharge them to about 75% and then fully charge them again the next day. Background was, some people have said, well, Andy, if you just connect these batteries and let them run for a while, they will balance out themselves. Maybe. So this is a test we are doing for 2 weeks and see if the batteries actually balance themselves. But tonight I have come to the garage to show you another wonderful battery. And I had a bit of a rough start with this battery actually. I didn't know it was coming. So the courier who delivered the battery was actually at the front gate and tried to ring me. And I kept pressing decline, 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 because I thought it's one of these scam callers. He just kept ringing. Well, and then he sent me a text from the gate and said, I'm here, I've got something for you. He had this huge wooden box on a pallet in his van. And he was asking me, how do you want to unload it? And I went back in the garage to get the battery crane. But in the meanwhile, he had already pulled out this whole pallet out of his van. I mean, he was a big boy, a huge big boy. And one side of the pallet was already on the ground and the other one was still inside his van. And he just grabbed it and unloaded it by hand. I mean, we are talking about a 120 kilo wooden box. So yeah, I couldn't even think about the battery crane anymore. The box was already unloaded. So it was totally up to me to get the battery out of this box and inside the garage. I got this bastard. And when I saw these tiny wheels under this big battery, I thought, man, this is a bad start. We have seen very high quality casters on the Polo battery as well as on the QSO battery. But these ones on this battery, they didn't look good. And I thought, this battery is so huge, it is so heavy, and the wheels are so tiny, they will get stuck somewhere here on the concrete floor and the whole thing will tip over and the battery crashes on the floor. But I must say, look at this. These wheels are amazing. And the battery is actually not top heavy. Look at this. It's very hard to tip it actually. The wheels are good. They work amazingly good with this heavy battery. I mean, you're not wheeling around this battery often. Usually you push it to the place of installation, connect it, and that's it. And then it stays there forever. Guys, welcome back to another late night show here in the Off-Grid Garage in sunny hot Australia. We are fully charged. It is the last month of winter and we are already fully charged. It is absolutely crazy how much energy we already generate here in the Off-Grid Garage. Plus the tilt system. This is already too much energy. I cannot use all of that. And because all of the batteries are already fully charged, I thought it is time to get a new battery in. So I've got at least another 3 days until this battery is also fully charged. Now this is actually the battery I have waited for so long. And it is finally here. May I introduce to you the Gobelpower Battery. It is the GP-SR1-PC200, a 51.2 volt, 280 ampere hour lithium iron phosphate battery. Comes in a very sturdy box. Amazing wheels. This is actually soft rubber here. That's why they roll so nice. This battery can be used as a servo rack battery or as a vertical battery as it is. I think it actually comes with some... Oh yeah, here. And I think you mount these brackets somewhere over here and then can adjust them. So you can fully secure this battery against the wall here and use it as a vertical battery. And you have seen at the beginning I have used these handles here to lift up this whole battery. The build quality is exceptional. We've got 4 terminals on this battery here, M8 connectors, I actually like these plastic caps for the terminals when they click in. We've got a 250 amp breaker at the front, a soft on-off button for the BMS, the usual display and 4 buttons, communication ports, RS485 and CAN for your inverter communication, RS232 for your computer, and RS485 for paralleling some of these batteries together. We've got dry contacts, they close at alarm and protection, 6 LEDs for the state of charge of your battery, alarm, run, a power LED and a reset button, and the usual dip switches for paralleling these batteries. This battery comes in 3 variants, an A, a B and a do-it-yourself model. I'll show you this in a second. And all 3 different batteries come with the same BMS, which is the 200 amp Pace BMS we have already tested here on the channel. Okay, let's have a look here at the sticker. Battery type lithium iron phosphate, 14.3 kilowatt hours, 51.2 volts, 280 ampere hours. Max charge voltage 58.4 volts, maximum charge current 140 amps, discharge current 200 amps. We can put 15 of them in parallel, no serious connection of these batteries. We've got a 5 amp active balancer in this battery. IP21 protection class, and the operation temperature is from -30 to 60 degrees Celsius. Yeah, has a sticker, 5 amp balancer. It also comes with this QR code. And first of all, I thought this is something which brings up the specifications or the manual of the battery. No, it's not. This actually gives you the full history of this battery, including all 16 single cells inside, all the data, everything you need to know about this battery. So let's have a look. So QR code reader, there it is. Goes to the Gobelpower website, look up, and then it has a really long number, which is exactly this number there. This number on the QR code. Okay, and this opens up the Gobelpower Battery Pack Information Lookup website. And let me bring this up on the big screen here quickly. Scanning this QR code opens up this page and gives you all the information about your battery pack. The Pace 200 amp BMS, for example, a Heltec 5 amp active balancer included. There's no heater in this battery, but you can order this battery with a heating option as well. We've got 16 nice and beautiful EVE LF280K batteries in here. The cell quality and grade is LSEV. More about this in a second. And we've got 16 of them in the battery to make up a 48 volt or 51.2 volt battery pack. They have also tested this battery with 299 ampere hours of capacity. And remember, these are only LF280K batteries, but tested at 299 ampere hours. What? The maximum charge voltage of this battery pack is 56.98, so almost 57 volts, and it can be discharged until 41.85 volts. How this works is explained underneath. So you can buy this battery as an A, as a B, and as a do-it-yourself grade battery. All the hardware is the same, but the consistency and the quality of the cells is different. And this battery here in my garage charges up to 57 volts before one of the cells hits 3.65 volts and the BMS would shut down. On the bottom end, when discharging this battery, we can hit 41.85 volts until one of the cells hits 2.5 volts. Yep, this is all explained down here. And here we can see the cell information for all 16 battery cells. They've got an ID and a label. These are the single capacities of the 280 ampere hour cells. That is amazing. We've got 3 different test methods here. So fully discharging the battery cell to 2.5 volts and then wait for 20 minutes. Measure the voltage. And you can see how close these batteries are together here. Test number 2. Fully charge the battery to 3.65 volts and then wait for another 20 minutes and measure the voltage. Test number 3 is fully charge the battery to 3.65 volts and then discharge 270 ampere hours out of the 280 ampere hours, wait for 20 minutes and measure the voltage again. And all these tests have been conducted on the 1st of July or maybe on the 7th of January. Who knows? And under this table they explain exactly why cell consistency is so important with these batteries. So Gobelpower is really trying to match all these battery cells here as good as possible for the quality you are ordering. And they have a quality classification on their website which explains exactly that. You can order the PC200A, the PC200B or the do-it-yourself kit. So in theory, you can charge all these batteries up to 58.4 volts, right? If all of the cells are 3.65 volts, you reach the 58.4 volts. This is something you don't achieve with any battery unless you very slowly charge this battery and are very careful with increasing the voltage to 58.4. So none of your cells goes over 3.65 volts. And occasionally we do this here on the channel when we test batteries and fully charge them. But either the BMS needs to have a very good balancer or we use the knee active balancer for that. But usually with a PC200A battery, you're reaching charge voltages of 56.5 to 58 volts. That's how well matched they are. If you get the PC200B battery, which I have here in my garage, you usually see charge voltages of 56 to 57.5 volts. And the do-it-yourself kit is the cheapest option. And it states here this battery is charged to 54.2 to 55.5 volts. And again, this is only in theory until one of the cells hits 3.65 volts. So this graph gives you only an idea of the consistency they are trying to match with their batteries. And just going back to the cell information here of my battery. So the closer the capacity test is of all these 16 cells, the closer all these tests are together, the more consistency you have in your battery pack and the higher the voltage will be you achieve until one of the cells hits 3.65 volts. And this is something unique Gobelpower does actually with their batteries and their cells. So you've got fully transparency here, what kind of cells they have used, how they've been matched, and it is totally up to you which kind of battery you're going to order. Obviously the batteries in the PCA battery are better matched than in the do-it-yourself kit. But on the other hand, the do-it-yourself kit is a lot cheaper. And this is exactly what this QR code is for. So if you wanna scan this QR code here with your mobile phone now, you get exactly the test results from my battery here in the off-kit garage. So this is actually pretty cool and we haven't seen such a feature from any of the other manufacturers yet. So full transparency, consistency and quality control. It's not a bad idea. I like it. Okay guys, but now without further ado, I want to open this battery and have a look inside. And because this is doesn't say anything here about the weight, but it's 118 kilos of this battery here. And I'm not keen to lay this flat here on the concrete floor just by hand, so we need the battery crane for that. Just for safety purposes. And we probably can put the battery here on top of the Frankenstein battery, which still sits here inside the garage. Well, we are not going to use the Frankenstein battery anymore. Okay, maybe we do use the Frankenstein battery very soon again to do some more testing. All right, my friends, let's have a look what's under the hood. Fully epoxy covered battery pack. Oh, thankfully no welded bus bars. Whew. Then we can see the label number and the QR code for this battery cell and 070123. So is this 7th of January or 1st of July? I don't know. I've got two cables connected for each battery cell. One is the BMS and the bigger one is for the 5 amp active balancer. Connection cables for the balancer. So first impression is very nice and clean built. We've got our 200 amp Pace BMS here in the front. You can see the display there. Communication board further below. And wow, these are massive thick cables here. And unfortunately I had to cut this open here. I wanted to see what size of cables they are using because this is a 50 by 6 millimeter ring lug here. So 50 square millimeter cable. And I think we can see a Yep, there it says 3-gauge wire. Wow. I've never seen a battery with a 3-gauge wire. So a 3-gauge wire would be between 25 and 35 square millimeters. And there also is a 200 amp CNN fuse down in the bottom of the battery box. So you've got a 200 amp BMS, a 200 amp fuse, and a 250 amp circuit breaker with a 3-gauge wire. I tell you, these battery manufacturers, they're always safe on copper. A 3-gauge wire is not enough for 200 amps. And here again, a quick look at the cell information on the Gobelpower website. We can see the cell ID here from 13 to 234. This is exactly the cell IDs we see here. 212, 200. These are all the cells which are mentioned here. Cool. So I've just moved this metal rail here out of the way a bit, and we can see there's a QR code popping out. And what I found is this QR code has actually a B stamped across it. Yeah, there you can see the B. See that? There. I'm keen if we can still scan this one here with our QR code scanner. Oh yes, got it. And we have the EVE Power 04Q lithium iron phosphate LF 280K 280 ampere hours. Production date is the 24th of March 23. So that means they cannot be tested on the 7th of January, right? So I wonder if these are 280 ampere hour cells, why are they tested with 302, 303 ampere hours? And they still have got a B stamped on the QR code. So obviously they haven't failed because of the capacity then. Man, I'm really keen to remove some of the bus bars here and test the cells individually with our battery tester and see what capacity they actually have. Because these capacities here, they are huge for a 280 ampere hour battery. That is insane. By the way, all these cells here, they are compressed with 300 kilogram force. Yeah, that's the metal compression plate. I've got isolators in between the cells. Okay, let's take one of the bus bars off and measure battery number 142. But before we do this, we actually disable the BMS by pulling the positive. And we also disconnect the active balancer. 2. All right. Okay, I have now fully isolated battery number 142. And let's connect the big Chinese cracker, let it run until tomorrow, and do a full charge and discharge curve of this battery cell. And compare it with the test Gobelpower has on their website. That'll be interesting. So 280 ampere hours divided by 40, that's exactly 7 hours. So it will take until tomorrow afternoon when I come back from work. And we will have all the test results for the battery number 142. Okay guys, let's leave this running until tomorrow. And you have a good night's sleep. You have a fantastic night. And we see us again tomorrow then. Hello my friends, I'm back. It is now the next day. Actually, the next evening, and I have no result for you. No result, because the software crashed on the computer. The EB tester software closed itself. It is not there anymore, and it left me like with well, the only thing I can see here is the tester is actually still connected to the PC and shows me 297 ampere hours. The voltage sits on 2.91 volts. But I'm not sure if this is the whole story or it crashed just before the battery was really empty. But I mean, 297 ampere hours is already quite good for the 280 ampere hour battery, right? So I'm already impressed. The good old EB tester software has never disappointed. It always worked for weeks and months when we did extended battery testing here on the channel. But I thought, maybe we do a wrap up here and I do the single cell test as well as the whole pack capacity test in the next video. So today We just had a look at the hardware here, and I've also contacted Gobelpower and expressed my concerns about the 3-gauge wire. This cable, what they put here into this battery, is a high flexible silicon cable. And they sent me actually the specifications of this cable here. It's a 3-gauge cable, but it has 7,000 very fine, super fine strands. And the manufacturer says this cable is good for 245 amps. So Gobelpower will now test this cable with 300 amps. So when I have more information, I'll update you in a future video. And we have not spoken about the active balancer. There you can see all the capacitors. So this is one of the 16S Heltec 5 amp balancers. And unfortunately, it is always turned on. Right? It runs all the time. And the engineers at Gobelpower told me that the balance current is dependent on the voltage difference of the cells. Of course, we know this already. We have tested this many times here on the channel. But we also tested that these balancers running all the time causing imbalance in the battery pack. Because we all know lithium iron phosphate has a very flat charge and discharge curve. So all the cells are very close together most of the time until we hit 95% state of charge. So the voltage difference across all these cells here is very small, but it is still enough for this balancer to do its work. So and if you don't fully charge your battery over winter time, for example, the balancer has enough time to cause chaos in your battery pack. And then with the first full charge, you have cells peaking and your whole top balancing from the season before is completely destroyed. And I think this is also the reason why we cannot charge these batteries any higher than 56, 57 volts. Because this balancer running all the time is doing the exact opposite what it's supposed to do. And we will confirm this in one of the next videos when we fully charge this battery and have a look at the BMS and see what the deviation of all these 16 beautiful, wonderful battery cells are. But we talk about this more in the next video when we talk about these battery cells charging and discharging and also have a look at the BMS. So from this first pure hardware perspective here, I'm a big fan. We've got compressed cells, a 200 amp Pace BMS, a 5 amp active balancer. We've got a 200 amp fast reactant fuse down here and also a 250 amp circuit breaker which we can operate from the front. The cables are well organized. The cables are also thick enough, which we know now. We have 2 pairs of these nice M8 terminals at the front. All the communication and the display we need. Soft on-off button for the BMS. Well, and from this incomplete capacity test, we can already see that this cell has at least 297 ampere hours here, which is impressive for a 280 ampere hour cell. So I'm really keen to see more about this. And I think Gobelpower has offered a very generous 12% discount code for this battery or any of the other batteries they have. I can't remember anymore, but I'll link this all down below under the video. I think it was 12%. Pretty good. But so far, yep, very nice hardware, very nice build, good quality. I like it. It's a good start. Okay guys, apologies again for the crashed and incomplete capacity test, which I wanted to add to this video here to give you a more comprehensive and complete picture about this battery. 100% promised we do this capacity test as well as the single cell capacity test in the next video. Coming out very soon. I'll start the test right now after I'm ending this video. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your very generous support here on the channel, which makes these tests here possible. And until the next video guys, you stay charged, stay safe, and thanks again for watching. See you then. Bye bye.